Good evening. Welcome to the SFP News Desk. I'm Dave in the AM, aka the Cornbread Man. We hope you're doing well on this Sunday evening. Let's get into the news tonight. We want to look at a report that's out of Israel, and Israel has launched a new wave of strikes in Gaza, and especially specifically Gaza City. There's been some strikes. And it looks as though the ceasefire may be over. They haven't called a full-out war yet, but they've also restricted aid from coming back in. They said this was due to strikes that are attacks that happened against their soldiers. According to Newsmax articles, it said that the fragile ceasefire in Gaza faced its first major test Sunday, as an Israeli security official said the transfer of aid into the territory was halted until further notice after Hamas ceasefire violation and Israeli forces launched a wave of strikes. The official spoke on condition of anonymity, pending a formal announcement on the halt in aid a little over a week since the start of the U.S. proposed ceasefire aimed at ending 2 years of war. Israel's military earlier Sunday said its troops came under fire from Hamas terrorists in southern Gaza and later said 2 soldiers were killed there. Israel's military said then it struck dozens of what it called Hamas targets. Health officials said at least 29 Palestinians were killed across Gaza, including children. A senior Egyptian official involved in the ceasefire negotiations said round-the-clock contacts were underway to de-escalate the situation. The official spoke on condition of anonymity because he wasn't authorized to speak to reporters. There was no immediate U.S. comment. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu directed the military to take, quote, strong action, unquote, against ceasefire violations, but didn't threaten the return to war. Israel's military said militants had fired at troops in areas of Rafah City that are Israeli controlled according to agreed upon ceasefire lines. Hamas, which continued to accuse Israel of multiple ceasefire violations, said communication with its remaining units in Rafah had been cut off for months, and we are not responsible for any incidents occurring in those areas. Palestinians quickly feared the return of war. Quote, it will be a nightmare, end quote, said Mohammed Hashim, a father of 5 from Gaza City, who appealed to U.S. President Donald Trump and other mediators to prevent the ceasefire's collapse. An Israeli airstrike on a makeshift coffee house in Zaweda town in central Gaza killed at least 6 Palestinians, according to Gaza's health ministry, part of the Hamas-run government. Another strike killed at least 2 people near the Al-Hali soccer in the Nusayrat refugee camp, the ministry said. The strike hit a tent and wounded 8 others, said Al-Awada Hospital, which received the casualties. The hospital said it also received the bodies of 4 people killed in a strike on a school sheltering displaced families in Nusayrat. 6 others were killed in a tent in Nusayrat, 1 killed at a charging point west of Nusayrat, and 4 killed at a house in Bariji camp. Another strike hit a town in Muwasi area of Khan Yunis in the south, killing at least 4 people, including a woman and 2 children, according to Nasir Hospital. A strike at Beit Lahia in the north killed 2 men, according to Shifa Hospital. Israel identified the remains of 2 hostages released by Hamas overnight. Netanyahu's office said the bodies belonged to Ronan Engel, a father from kibbutz near Oz, and Sahaya Oak Karesi, a Thai agricultural worker from kibbutz Be'eri. Both were believed to have been killed during the Hamas-led attack on southern Israel on October 7th, 2023, which sparked the war. Stay tuned, as continues to continue to heat up in the Middle East. As part of these ongoing activities, Israel has warned of further strikes against Hamas, and they said they may carry out additional strikes against Hamas in response to what one described as the group's, quote, violations, end quote, of a ceasefire agreement on Sunday, a military official said. The official briefing reporter said there were at least 3 incidents on Sunday in which Hamas fired towards Israeli troops behind the, quote, yellow line, end quote, where Israeli forces had pulled back under the ceasefire agreement. So ongoing lines and other lines that are being drawn and maybe redrawn due to the onslaught of some attacks, at least from some, maybe not all of Hamas, and we'll see where this goes. Iran has executed a person accused of spying for Israel. They were convicted of spying for Israel's intelligence agency Mossad in the city of Qom. The official judiciary news agency reported Sunday The sentence was carried out early Sunday after the Supreme Court upheld the ruling and a request for pardon was denied, the Mazan news agency said. The report didn't identify the person, but said that the individual was accused of, quote, intelligence cooperation with the Zionist regime, end quote, and found guilty of, quote, corruption on earth, end quote, and enmity against God, crimes punishable by death under Iran's Islamic Penal Code. Mazan said the person began contacts in cooperation with Israeli intelligence services in October 2023 and was arrested 4 months later in February of 2024. The defendant had allegedly provided sensitive information to Mossad and carried out missions inside Iran on behalf of Israeli intelligence, according to the report. No further details about the nature of the alleged espionage or the date of the person's arrest were made public. Iran's judiciary has repeatedly described such executions as necessary to safeguard national security, particularly amid what Tehran calls Israel's infiltration and sabotage operation. The execution in Qom, home to a sacred Shiite shrine about 120 kilometers, that's 75 miles south of the capital of Tehran, follows a recent series of similar cases against alleged cooperation with Israel. On October 4th, Iran executed 6 people accused of conducting bombings and armed attacks in the province, and while allegedly working with Mossad. Authorities said that the group had operated in direct connection with the Zionist regime's intelligence apparatus. Days early, on September 29th, Iran hanged another defendant identified as Baman Chubasel, who was convicted of spying for Israel. Chubasel was executed in Iraq prison after being found guilty of collecting sensitive information and providing it to Israeli handlers. Since the 12-day war earlier this year and a series of Israeli strikes targeting Iranian military strikes, Iran is known to have executed at least 9 people accused of espionage. Okay, moving along to some other news. Netanyahu warned over until Hamas disarms. According to this news report, in Newsmax, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned Saturday that the war in Gaza would not be over until Hamas was disarmed and the Palestinian territory demilitarized. His declaration came as Hamas's armed wing, the Esdin al-Qassam Brigade, said it would hand over the remains of 2 further hostages on Saturday night. The Israeli military said a Red Cross team was en route to receive, quote, several, end quote, bodies just before 11 p.m. local time. The issue of the dead hostages still in Gaza has become a sticking point in the implementation of the first phase of the ceasefire, with Israel linking the reopening of the key Rafah crossing between the territory and Egypt to the issue. Netanyahu cautioned, however, that completing the ceasefire's second phase was essential to ending the war, saying late Saturday that Phase B also involves the disarming of Hamas, and more precisely, the demilitarization of the Gaza Strip, following the stripping of Hamas of its weapons. Quote, when this is successfully completed, hopefully in an easy way, but if not in a hard way, then the war will end, end quote. He added in an appearance on Israeli Channel 14. The group has so far resisted the idea, and since the pause in fighting has moved to reassert its control over the Gaza Strip. Now, so the Rafah crossing is still closed. Under the ceasefire deal brokered by President Donald Trump, Hamas has also released all 20 living hostages, along with the remains of 9 Israelis and 1 Nepalese. The most recent handover was on Friday night, that of the body identified by Israel as Elihu Margalit, who died at age 75 in Hamas's October 7th, 2023 attack. As we move along, Shahar Husani to Hamas is showing pure evil with executions. Hamas is showing the world that it is, quote, pure evil, end quote, through its series of executions in Gaza, underscoring why Israel will keep pushing until the terrorist organization is out of the region, Israeli diplomat Shahar Azani told Newsmax on Saturday. Quote, they are pure evil agents of chaos, executing Gazans on the streets, people who may disagree with them, end quote. Azani, the founder and principal at Fourth Dimension Strategies and head of corporate social responsibility at Jet Support Services, told Saturday Report. It could be people who just called for democracy in Gaza. It could be people who wanted a better future. The group's violence underscores why Israel remains committed to enforcing the current ceasefire agreement and ensuring Hamas cannot regain control of the Gaza Strip, Azani said. There is no other option, not just for Israel, but for the ordinary Palestinians in Gaza who may want a better future, he said. His comments came after video surfaced of public executions of Hamas rivals last week. And Azani said the footage shows that Hamas is intent and eager to prove who they really are. Azani criticized Western activists and celebrities for remaining silent about the terrorist group's brutality. Quote, where are all these Hollywood pundits and actors, people like Susan Sarandon and Javier Bardem, who are demonstrating in favor of Palestinians, end quote, he said. Quote, where are those masses chanting for October 7th to happen again? They are anti-Israel, they are anti-Semitic, and they are anti the United States of America. Azani's added that the regional players must take seriously President Donald Trump's warning that Hamas must disarm or face forceful action. And I believe that action was that he said that he would hunt them down and kill them. So these are always sticky matters when you're talking about taking over and letting others take back over. And there still is those fighters in the region that they never completely dealt with. So this is sort of where we're at. And I think everybody wants a ceasefire, but to let Hamas come back in and take full control, to me, would seem like that you would have chaos reigning, and it would not be right for the either side to have to go through that all over again, and the loss of life on a scale that is just simply amazing. Hey, a quick word from our sponsors. We have our coffees, the SFP coffees. Boy, I like these things. I have tried at least 9 blends of the 22 that are listed. There's some others we've got to get up on the site because there's more than 40 blends. There is also 8 teas that are listed on the site. I tell you, there's something for everybody. Those that are on the site, I've had every one of those, and they are wonderful. I've had the house blend in a single-use pod. Now, every brand or blend, does not have a single-use option, but many of them do. And my wife is thoroughly pleased with hers. Use the QR code. Your first order will also get you 5% off of the total cost. And shipping, yes, shipping is included in the cost you see on screen. There's no sticker shock when you get to checkout. Mammoth Nation, use that QR code. Mammoth Nation collects all these America First companies. And for going through their site and be a monthly supporter of Mammoth Nation, they get you great discounts. I've done this several times. You can join for as little as $5 a month. I saw the opportunity and had the means at the time to become a lifetime supporter and lifetime member. So I don't pay monthly, and they run that special once a year. You can get that half price. But if you want to spend $5 a month, you're going to make that $5 savings back with the first order you make. I promise you the discounts are there, and they're giving you special pricing for Mammoth Nation. Now, not to say everything is of a low price. It's just saying that there are good prices given. There are things that are priced very low, very reasonable, smaller items, all the way up to very expensive items, depending on which shop you're shopping at. Some offer services. And so some of these are very detailed and very expensive. So they're getting you special details. But you've always got all those sites that have the merch, the shirts, the cups, anything you would want, they are there. And there's a lot of unique items that are found on Mammoth Nation. Quickly, W Energy Drink. Use that promo code SouthernFied. No shakes, no crashes, and no sugar. Enough said. Payworld. If you got a company or you got maybe an e-commerce or something, need somebody to help you with all the subscriptions and reoccurring payments, make it happen with Payworld. Use that promo code Cornbread. You'll be helping us as well. Hey, we're going to be going live into Buy a Coffee, or is what this is. It's a monthly support. We're already making postings there now too. We wasn't doing that for a long time, but we're stepping up and we're fixing to promote exclusive content to those that are supporters. Your first level is for as little as $3 a month for the breadhead level, and there's a Mama Said level, and we're fixing to add 2 or 3 more. And so look for exclusive content on that and other social networks. We appreciate you for being a supporter. Then Patriot Mobile, use promo code Cornbread. First month is free. Yeah, you got to pay the setup, but you're saving money. You'd have to pay that anyway. And they're a great company. I have 5 phones total that are on Patriot Mobile. Love those folks. Podbean, I just went live there this morning along with the other video. I love it. It's really easy. Use that. You're going to get a free first month. That's a savings of $14. Become a podcaster and share your talents, your voice. Amen with the world. A couple of more. Our friends at the Decatur Diner, Miss Angie. If you're in Decatur, Tennessee, stop in. Your home cooking away from home. We also want to remind you to support the Half Pine Forge and Half Pine Forge Live. Go visit his store. Give him a follow. He will appreciate it so very much. Then let's move on and that's some of the Mammoth Nation supplies I wanted to show you. This is just one of the many companies. So if you're in for defense, you're going to find a lot of different things. This company had a lot of great options. I enjoyed ordering from them. And oh yes, the Hodge twins. Love those folks. I cannot wait to continue this relationship. And we appreciate those that have already used this QR code in order from the Hodge twins. I'll be ordering again. I'll use their own QR code and love their stuff. I absolutely love their stuff. And by the way, I am a monthly supporter to our own podcast. I'm a breadhead level. I'll be stepping that up later, but I support it as well. And yes, we are making noise on Halloween night. 3ravenspublishing.com, 3ravenspublishing.com, and the SFP. We're both on fire. It's going to be a fun night. It's a book release celebration. Be other authors there. They'll be talking to you about what's going on with their organization. It is fantastic. I appreciate the relationship. I hope we can make this an annual event. You see the 3 ravens on top of the house and the tree limb. We love our friends at 3 Ravens Publishing. Okay, we're back. And let's move into a little more news as we look at some of the things that are so much going on. President Trump is calling for Colombian president, a drug leader, vows to end payments. He said Sunday he would slash U.S. funding to Colombia because the country's leader, quote, does nothing to stop, end quote, drug production, and what is the latest sign of friction between Washington and one of his closest allies in Latin America. In a social media post, Trump referred to Colombian President Gustavo Petro as, quote, an illegal drug dealer, end quote, who is, quote, low rated and very unpopular, end quote. He warned that Petro, quote, better close up, end quote, drug operations, or the United States will close them up for him, and it won't be done nicely. Colombian Defense Minister Pedro Sanchez, defending Petro, the nation's drug-fighting commitment, said, quote, if there's a country that has used all of its capabilities and also lost men and women fighting drug trafficking, it's Colombia, end quote. Trump said that while his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida wrote on his Truth Social platform that Petro is, quote, strongly encouraging the massive production of drugs in big and small fields, end quote, across Colombia. While the Republican president initially misspelled as Colombia before deleting his post and replacing the correct spelling of the country, quote, Petro does nothing to stop it despite large-scale payments and subsidies from the USA that are nothing more than a long-term ripoff of America, end quote, Trump said. He says in capital letters, as of today, these payments or any other form of payment or subsidies will no longer be made to Colombia, Trump said. He also said Petro had a fresh mouth towards America. Hours later, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced the latest U.S. strike in the waters off South America, this time against a vessel he said it was associated with the Colombian rebel group, the National Liberation Army, or ELN, and was carrying substantial amounts of narcotics. But did not say how that was known to U.S. intelligence agencies. He said on social media that 3 men aboard were killed in the Friday attack. A brief video clip he attached showed a boat in flames after an explosion. The State Department designated the group as a foreign terrorist organization in 1997. So ongoing conflict there in the War of the Words about the flow of drugs into the nation. In other news, George Santos, he says, I'm truly repentant and grateful to President Trump. Former New York Representative George Santos, who was released last week after President Donald Trump commuted his prison sentence, told Newsmax on Sunday that he is, quote, truly repentant, end quote, for his past mistakes and hopes to use his second chance to help others rebuild their lives. Quote, I'm an imperfect, sinning human being, end quote, the former congressman told Newsmax's Sunday Agenda host, Lydia Karanaj. I have done some silly things, he added. I have said such silly things. I have made very poor choices. And Santos said, quote, "The only way for me to rebuild is if I look forward and start rebuilding my life so people can see that I truly am repentant," end quote. Santos's remarks come months after his guilty plea in federal court to wire fraud and aggravated identity theft, the charges that led to his expulsion from Congress in 2023. The New York Republican admitted to stealing from political donors using campaign funds for personal expenses and lying about his wealth while collecting unemployment benefits. On Sunday, he offered a direct apology to his former constituents. Quote, "I want to say sorry to anybody that I might have hurt, anybody I crossed paths with. The constituents of the 3rd District of New York, who I had no intention of hurting at all," end quote, Santos said. He goes on to say, quote, "It was an honor of a lifetime to represent them in Congress. And to my voters and donors and supporters, friends and family, it's a profound sorry," end quote, he continued. And I quote, "And I hope that with this second chance, you will give me the opportunity to see what good will come from it," end quote. Santos said he learned of the computation while sitting in a cafeteria area at the Federal Correctional Institution in Farrington, New Jersey. Quote, "I was sitting in a cafeteria area where we do our computers so we can email our families. And all of a sudden, everybody was watching the news and they started screaming and like, 'Oh, you're going home.' And I'm like, 'Stop playing around,'" he recalled. Quote, "I learned through the news and I called my family and I spoke to my partner, Matt, who said, quote, 'I just spoke to the president. It's over. You're coming home,' end quote." Trump announced Santos' computation on his Truth Social account Friday, ordering his immediate release after less than 3 months behind bars. Trump said Santos had been horribly mistreated in prison, adding that even though the former congressman is a rogue, others guilty of worse crimes were not sentenced to similar lengthy terms. Santos described learning of his release as deeply emotional, saying it came one day after confession. The former congressman said he later spoke personally with Trump, calling the conversation a privilege and honor. While he declined to share details, he said that they discussed the future. "President Trump is really one hell of an incredible man," Santos said. "He was very interested in understanding how I was treated, the fact that I was kept in solitary confinement. The experience," Santos said, "has motivated him to push for prison reform. I told Trump, I want to get involved with prison reform, and I want to be part of the team for America. This isn't about red or blue or right or left. It's about America fixing and healing Americans who deserve a second chance," Santos added. So he gets to go home and move on with his life. Probably not ever going to be able to be involved in politics ever again, but there are some things that he can do, and it sounds as though that they have some ideas on where he might be able to begin his journey. Russia and Ukraine are still at a stalemate. In fact, Russia has unleashed some of the heaviest bombardments through the air with missiles and drones that they have through the whole war. Many have said that they're trying to make up as much ground before the winter sets in there. And so there has been a record number, and Ukraine has admitted 20 to 30% of the drones, 20 to 30% of the drones get through the shield that they have up. So there is attacks on troops and equipment near the front lines, and further back in the country, they're hitting energy sources especially. So this is an ongoing battle. In an article on Newsmax, it says, Fred Fleets to Newsmax, Trump will send Tomahawks if Russia escalates. Former National Security Council Chief of Staff Fred Fleets predicted Sunday on Newsmax that President Donald Trump's, quote, patience will run out, end quote, on Russia if it escalates its war against Ukraine, and he will likely provide the Tomahawk missiles Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is seeking. It's good that they're talking, but I'm also pessimistic based on things I've heard. Fleet said on Newsmax, Wake Up America weekend. The Russians say they want our territory that Ukraine is not going to give up. Fleet added that both sides may need to make limited concessions, open the door for a ceasefire, and said that Zelensky may agree to avoid contesting Russia's control over Crimea and to suspend NATO membership ambitions for a set period. He's not going to agree to it, but he's not going to contest it, Fleet said. I think he'll probably have to agree not to pursue NATO membership for maybe 10 to 25 years. But that's also not an issue because several nations in NATO would veto that. He continued, the real challenge, Fleet said, lies in convincing Russian President Vladimir Putin to end the war, and Trump is uniquely suited to achieve that. Trump made an interesting statement to let both sides declare victory. He said, I know that sounds ridiculous, but Trump has to be a neutral mediator who can make the case to Putin to do this. Fleet said that while the process will take time, Trump's negotiation style could help push progress. When asked about Trump's approach, he said, well, there's nothing wrong with that. That's why he's the art of the deal, right? Master negotiator. So we will see where that goes. This has been a place where the president has really struggled in some of these foreign avenues where he's not been able to bring peace. He has no answer for China yet, but he has made progress in the Middle East and with Gaza. So it's a difficult process. It's ongoing, and we will see where it goes. There's one more article I do want to really share tonight, and we'll go to that right after a short video. And I want to do the coffees again because we really are proud of our coffees, and we hope that you will make them part of your home as well. We'll be right back. I have a final article about something very striking that was going on against the president of the United States, and so glad that they discovered it. We'll be right back.
Hey, everybody, this is Rob and Dave from the Southern Fried Podcast. You know, we love lots of things here in the South. We love our country. We love our family. We love our God. We love some sweet tea on the front porch on Friday nights. But we're really near and dear and love us some coffee. That being said, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock on July the 14th, yes, we will have our coffee out there. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome, man. It's been a dream come true. We talked about this before we were ever a podcast, and we love these coffees. There's 40 plus blends. You'll find something that you like. And most people like coffee. If you don't, I can't help you, but most people like coffee, and there's a lot of coffee here. In fact, our morning show, we say get up, pray up, and coffee up, because we start our day with coffee, and now you can get some for you. Hey, we're very patriotic here. Get some for your veteran friends. You know what? Bless them. And the coffee mugs you see are representatives of logos that we've made. We've got more coming. We're going to put those on coffee mugs, and you'll see our SFP brand there, logo on each coffee. And these prices, Rob, we kept them as reasonable as we can. We cut that margin down because we know times are tough, and we want to help people and put coffee in their home and all of our listeners and followers' home. And I'm proud of this. So big kickoff, Rob. Excited about
Absolutely. And hey, y'all, there's no shipping cost on this either. You do not have to pay for shipping. It's already, everything's done. You just go with it. So the price
the QR code works. Just scan it, and and also off of our site, our coffee store, 2 or 3 of our social sites are also linked there, and you can find some of our. If you don't know where we're located, you can find us there, and come get some coffee. We got plenty. All right, and thank you for watching the commercial. We appreciate it. We love our SFP coffees. You see that right behind me there. I've got some Ethiopian. I've not tried it yet. That's going to happen in the next day. I was finishing up some other coffee, and I can't wait. It smells so good, and I appreciate that. It's the 12-ounce size, and then the other size you see is the next size up. And so we appreciate your support of the Southern Fried Podcast. Hey, there was an article that the FBI is probing and has admitted has happened. FBI Director Kash Patel confirmed Sunday the investigation of a suspicious elevated hunting stand discovered by the U.S. Secret Service near the landing zone of Air Force One at Palm Beach International Airport. USSS spotted a suspicious stand near the AF-1 zone in Palm Beach, Patel confirmed on X. The FBI is investigating. The structure was reportedly uncovered Thursday by the USSS during the advanced security preparation for Trump's weekend arrival. No suspects were present when agents arrived. While we were not able to provide details about the specific items on their intent, this incident underscores the importance of our layered security measures, USSS spokesman Anthony Glugmia, boy, I butchered his name. I am so sorry. Guglielma said in a reported statement, the stand was reportedly believed to have been up months ago and only recently discovered. Not good. Must protect the president of these United States and make sure that we are doing a thorough security assessment of not only people, but places as well, and what may have changed or been put there. Good job on finding it, though. Maybe totally innocent, but suspiciously. We've seen attacks before. Does not sound like it was just there as a hunting, especially near airport. That does not make sense whatsoever. And so maybe an attempt on the president's life again. Good job, Secret Service and others. Make sure you continue to do that great job and protect our president from harm. Well, that's what we have tonight. A few bits and articles for the SFP News Desk, and we appreciate you watching. I'm Dave in the AM, aka the Cornbread Man. I'll look for further programming tonight or in the morning, as we'll have Sunday night programming after this. And we will also have our Sunday morning program that starts with our legendary SFP Morning Show with Dave and Robert live at 6 a.m. on many social networks. Take care and God bless. And we'll see you next